The wind howled across the arid plains of the ancient Near East, carrying the whispers of destiny. In the bustling city of Ur, a man named Abram stood apart from the idol worshippers and the noise. He was 75 years old, yet his journey was only just beginning. The voice of the Lord came to him, not as thunder, but as an undeniable shifting in his soul. Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, the Lord commanded. The instruction was absolute, requiring the abandonment of everything familiar and safe. To a land that I will show you, the voice promised, offering no map, only a direction. God continued, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. And you shall be a blessing, the Lord declared, sealing a promise that would span eternity. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. A prophecy that reached far beyond Abram's comprehension. With trembling hands but a steady heart, Abram packed his tents and gathered his household. Lot, his brother's son, looked at him with a mixture of confusion and trust, deciding to follow. They left Haran, a caravan of faith moving slowly into the unknown horizon. Sarai, Abram's wife, rode beside him, her beauty radiant despite the harsh sun and the uncertainty of the road. They acquired people and possessions in Haran, but their true wealth was the promise they carried. Finally, the dust of their journey settled as they entered the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. The Canaanites were fierce and present in the land, watching the strangers with suspicious eyes. Then the Lord appeared to Abram again, standing amidst the foreign trees. To your descendants I will give this land, God said, gesturing to the hills and valleys. Overwhelmed with gratitude,
Lord, for this
Abram
land
built
and
an
for your
altar
promise.
there to the Lord who had
You
appeared
are
to him.
faithful.
He moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, seeking higher ground. He pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east, claiming the space spiritually. There, he built another altar to the Lord and called on the name of the
May the
Lord.
smoke rise.
But faith is rarely a straight path without trials, and a severe famine struck the land. The ground cracked, the crops failed, and the livestock groaned in hunger. Abram journeyed toward the south, and eventually, desperation led him down to Egypt. As the Great Pyramids and the Nile came into view, fear began to grip Abram's heart. He looked at Sarai, realizing that her stunning beauty could be a death sentence for him in this pagan land. Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance, he whispered
Our
urgently
lives
to her.
depend on it.
When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will let you live, he added, the fear of death clouding his judgment. Please say you are my sister, he begged, that it may be well
I
with
don't
me
know,
for your
Abram.
sake. It was a lie born of survival instinct, a crack in the armor of his faith. When they entered Egypt, the reaction was exactly as Abram had feared. The
Who is that
Egyptians
woman?
saw the woman and
I heard she
marveled
just arrived
that
in
she
the
was
city.
very beautiful.
She's certain.
The
Quick,
princes
we
of
must tell
Pharaoh
the
saw
Pharaoh
her
immediately.
and raced
She
to
is even
commend
more
her to
beautiful
their
than they
king.
said.
Sarai was taken to Pharaoh's house, separated from her husband, a pawn in a dangerous game. Pharaoh treated Abram well for her sake, showering
Too
him
kind,
with
great
gifts.
Pharaoh.
Abram received sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys and camels. But the Lord, who sees all, did not let this injustice stand. The Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. Sickness and shadow fell upon the royal court, revealing the truth that had been hidden. Pharaoh called Abram, his voice trembling with anger and fear. "What is this you have done to me?" the king demanded. "Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister?" Pharaoh asked, feeling betrayed by the deception. "I might have taken her as my wife," Pharaoh admitted, realizing how close he came to disaster. "Now, therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go your way." Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they escorted Abram out of the country. Abram went up from Egypt, humiliated but wealthy, with his wife and all that he had. Lot was still with him, and they traveled back toward the south. Abram was now very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. He retraced his steps as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. He returned to the altar which he had made there at first. There, Abram called on the name of the Lord, perhaps seeking forgiveness for his lack of trust in Egypt. But new wealth brought new problems. Lot also had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to support them both. Their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. Strife broke out between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites also dwelt in the land,
We should strike
adding
now while
to the
they are
tension.
weak. Let there be
Abram,
no conflict
seeking
between us,
peace,
Lot, for we are
spoke to
family.
Lot
The land
with the
cannot
wisdom
support us
of
both,
an
uncle.
elder.
Please
Let there be no
strife
strife
between us, for we are
between you
kinsmen.
and me.
I implore
Abram
you,
said gently.
let us find a way.
Is
Let
not
there
the
be no
whole land
strife
before
between
you?
us. Look at
Abram
the land
asked,
before you.
gesturing
If you
to
take
the
the left,
horizon.
then I look to
Please
the left,
separate
or
from me.
look to the right.
If you take the
The
left,
choice is yours,
then I
my
will go
nephew.
to the right.
The valley.
Lot lifted his eyes and looked out over the valley. He saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. It looked like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and the land was seductive in its beauty. Driven by sight
the
rather
valley
than
of the Jordan.
faith, Lot chose
It is
for himself
well-watered
all the
everywhere.
plain of Jordan. Lot journeyed east, and they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, remaining in the rugged hills. Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. After Lot had separated from him, the Lord spoke to Abram again to reassure him. "Lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are," God commanded. "Northward, southward, eastward,
as far as
and
the eye
westward.
can see.
For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth. So that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also could be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you."
To the
Then
left,
Abram
quickly
moved
now.
his tent and
Pull
went
tight on the
and
count of
dwelt
three.
by the terebinth
1,
trees
2,
of Mamre.
3.
He was
May
now
this
in
altar
Hebron,
be a testament
and once
to your
again
promise,
he
O
built an
Lord.
altar there to the Lord. Sometime later, the drums of war echoed through the valley. A war broke out between 4 powerful eastern kings and 5 kings of the Jordan Valley. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah were involved in this brutal conflict. The eastern kings, led by King Kedorlaomer, defeated the 5 kings. They looted their cities, taking people and possessions as spoils of war. Among the captives was Lot, Abram's nephew, who had been living in Sodom. One who had escaped ran to tell Abram the Hebrew. He gathered 318 trained men from his household, men born in his own house. They pursued the invaders all the way to Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, launching a surprise attack. The element of surprise and the favor of God were on his side. He defeated them and pursued them, rescuing Lot and all his goods. He also brought back the women and the people, securing a total victory. As Abram returned from the slaughter of the kings, he was met by a mysterious figure. Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, came out to meet him. He brought out bread and wine, a foreshadowing of a future covenant. He blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." Abram gave him a tithe of all, recognizing the divine authority of this priest. The king of Sodom then said to Abram, "Give me the persons and take the goods for yourself." But Abram raised his hand and refused to take even a thread or a sandal strap. "I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, 'I have made Abraham rich.'" Abram relied only on God, not on the wealth of wicked kings. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. "Do not be afraid, Abram." But Abram, heavy with the ache of an empty lineage, replied with raw honesty, "Lord God, what will you give me, seeing I go childless? The heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus," he said, pointing to his servant. "Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, one born in my house is my heir." And behold, the word of the Lord came to him again. "This one shall not be your heir," God declared firmly, "but one who will come from your own body shall be your heir." Then God brought him outside into the cool night air. "Look now toward heaven and count the stars if you are able to number them." Abram looked up, his old eyes tracing the infinite constellations. "So shall your descendants be," God promised. And in that moment, under the starlight, Abram believed in the Lord, and God accounted it to him for righteousness. Yet, as time passed, silence filled the tents of Abram and Sarai. Sarai, desperate and feeling the shame of barrenness, devised a plan. She had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. "See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children," Sarai said with a trembling voice. "Please go into my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her." Abram, weary of waiting, heeded the voice of his wife. Hagar conceived, and the balance of power in the household shifted instantly. Sarai became despised in Hagar's eyes, and bitterness took root. Sarai blamed Abram, saying, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace. And when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised." Abram said to Sarai, "Your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please." Sarai dealt harshly with her, and Hagar, unable to bear the cruelty, fled into the wilderness. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water, alone and weeping. "Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I'm fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai," she sobbed. The angel said, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. But he gave her a
Look to the
promise.
horizon,
I will
Hagar.
multiply your
Your
descendants
will be too
exceedingly.
numerous to
You shall
Look
bear a
to the
son.
horizon,
Hagar
my son.
returned, and she bore
God has
Abram a
heard our
son,
prayers.
and Abram named him
welcome,
Ishmael.
Ishmael.
Abram
My
was
son.
86 years old when
God
Ishmael
has
was
heard our
born.
prayer.
13 years passed, and silence hung over the promise of a son through Sarai. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him again. I'm Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. God established the covenant of circumcision as a sign between them. And regarding his wife, God said, You shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. I will bless her and also give you a son by her. Abraham fell on his face and laughed, the absurdity of it overwhelming him. Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? He thought. And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? He pleaded for Ishmael, but God was specific. No, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. Soon after, Abraham was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day. He lifted his eyes and saw 3 men standing by him. He ran to meet them, bowing low, sensing their divine nature. He rushed to Sarah.
Quick, we have
Quickly,
visitors. Get the
make
finest
ready
flour,
3
knead it
measures
quickly,
of
and prepare the
fine
calves.
meal.
Hurry.
While they ate
Sarah,
under the tree,
quick, we
they
have
asked,
visitors. Get the finest
Where is
flour,
Sarah your
knead it
wife?
quickly, and prepare.
They
Here,
are resting
in the
just
tent,
inside,
Abraham replied.
behind me.
One of
They are
them
resting
said,
just
I
inside,
will certainly return to
behind
you.
me.
Sarah was
The
listening
chieftain has
in the
agreed to
tent
the
door
terms.
behind him. She laughed within herself, thinking, After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure? The Lord heard her
anything
silent
too hard
thought
for the
and
Lord?
asked Abraham, Why did Sarah
Why did
laugh?
Sarah laugh?
Is anything too hard
for the Lord?
Sarah denied it out of fear, but the Lord knew. The men rose and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them. The Lord revealed his plan to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because their sin was grave. Abraham,
Be it from you
thinking
to
of
do such a
Lot,
thing.
began to
Shall not
intercede
the
for the
judge
city.
of all the earth?
Would you
Far be
also
it from
destroy
you
the
to do such a
righteous with the
thing.
wicked? He
Shall
asked
not the
boldly.
judge of all the...
What
He
if there are
negotiated
50
with
righteous?
God,
Wilt thou
counting
destroy the
down
city?
from
I will not
50
destroy it
righteous
for the
men
50.
to
What
10.
if perhaps
I will
Look
not
now toward the
destroy it
heavens,
for the sake
and
of
count
10,
the stars
the
if
Lord
you are able.
promised.
Look
But 10
now toward
righteous
the
men
heavens,
were
and
not
count the
found in
stars if
Sodom.
you are able.
2
My
angels
lords,
arrived
I
in
beg you,
Sodom
do
in the
not pass by
evening,
your servant.
and Lot
Come,
met them at the gate.
spend the night
The wickedness of the
lords,
city
I beg
was
you,
revealed
do not
that
pass by
night
your
as a
servant.
mob
Come, spend
surrounded
the night
Lot's
under my
house.
roof.
They
Open this
demanded
door,
the
old
visitors,
man. Give us the
intending
men inside.
violence
We
and
demand them
depravity.
now.
The
Open this
angels
door,
struck
old
the
man.
mob with
Give us the men
blindness
inside.
and
We
urged
demand them
Lot
now.
to flee. Escape for your life.
Do not look back, no
Do
matter
not
what
look
you
behind
hear.
you, they warned. As the sun rose, the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hurry,
Lot's
don't look
wife,
back.
longing for her
can't
old
leave them.
life, looked back and became a pillar of salt.
Hurry,
Abraham
don't look
looked
back.
out from his place high
can't
up
leave them.
and saw the smoke of the land rising like a furnace. Time moved on, and the impossible came to pass. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and she conceived. She bore Abraham a son in his old age at a set time. Abraham called the name of his son Isaac, meaning laughter. Sarah said, God has made me laugh, and all who hear will laugh with me. But the joy was mixed with tension as Ishmael mocked Isaac.
Send him
Sarah
away,
demanded that
Abraham. Look at me when I
Hagar
speak
and
to you. He
Ishmael
cannot
be
stay
cast
here.
out.
Sarah,
Send
It
him away,
grieved
Abraham. Look at me
Abraham
when I speak to
deeply,
you. He cannot
but
stay
God
here.
told him to
please,
listen
you
to
ask too
Sarah.
much.
Early in the morning, Abraham gave Hagar bread and water and sent them away. It was a heartbreaking departure, but God protected the boy in the wilderness. Then came the ultimate test, the moment that would define faith forever. Abraham, God called, "Go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering." The command was unthinkable, cutting against every promise God had made. Yet Abraham rose early, saddled his donkey, and took Isaac. For 3 days they traveled, the father carrying the weight of the secret. Isaac carried the wood, and Abraham carried the fire and the knife. "My father,"
Father,
Isaac said,
behold the
"Look,
fire and the
the
wood.
fire and the wood,
But where is
but
the
where
lamb
is the
for a
lamb?"
burnt offering?
Abraham's
be
voice
afraid,
did
my
not
son.
shake as he
God
replied,
himself will
"My
provide
son,
the lamb for the
God
burnt
will
offering on
provide
that
for
mountain."
himself a lamb." They reached the place, and Abraham built the altar. He bound Isaac, his beloved son, and laid him on the wood. He stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. "Abraham, Abraham," the angel of the Lord called from heaven. "Do not lay your hand on the lad, for now I know that you fear God." Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. He offered the ram instead of his son and named the place "The Lord will provide." The journey was complete. The faith was proven. God swore by himself, "In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed." Abraham stood on the mountain, the father of faith, looking toward a future he would not see, but fully trusted. He was just a man who listened, obeyed, and counted the stars.